Hi, this is Hutch Marone with Command TECD. I'm an agent in the Atlanta area, and during these segments, I talk about all things command related, and this is heavily in the related category. So you're an agent, and you understand that your market center is transitioning from Dotloop to DocuSign. They haven't already, or they've notified you that you have, a choice of transaction management software. However, they will not be paying for Dotloop anymore. So some market centers have continued to pay for Dotloop, but as of 9/15/2019, KWRI discontinued their relationship with DocuSign. So that's no longer provided. And then some market centers pick that up and then are now moving away now that DocuSign has the Georgia forms, and there are a couple of other parts of the Southeast region waiting for those forms. But for those of you that are in a market center transitioning away from Dotloop and into DocuSign, basically labs grabbed the old files prior to 9/15/2019. After that day, after the 15th, 2019 of September, it is the market center's responsibility, if they've continued to use Dotloop, to grab those documents, grab those loops and the documents in them. The agent may also wish to do the same. So as an agent, I elected to download all of my own loops. And what you see here on my screen is I am using API Nation. I have started a sync, created a sync where I am moving my loops automatically, and you can see it's active because it's green, from Dotloop to Dropbox. So I have both accounts, right? I have a Dropbox account, which I had already, but you can easily start one. And I have obviously a Dotloop account. I've attached the two, and over the course of the last few days, all my loops, my history of loops have been coming over. So yeah, it's not instantaneous. It's going to take a little bit. So I recommend starting this process as soon as possible. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sign up for an account. When you go to my apination.com, okay, you're going to want, one of the first screens you're going to be presented with is this apps screen where it gives you a choice of all the apps that API Nation will connect. The other thing you're going to want to do, though, before you start connecting anything, is you're going to want to go to Dropbox and sign up for an account. Yes, you can use Google Drive. Okay, if you want to know what you can sync, you can simply go in here, real estate apps, transaction management, everything's in alphabetical order. Select Dotloop, right? And then you see over here it says Dotloop Plus. So what do you wish to connect it to? Do you wish to connect Dotloop to Dropbox? Because now keep in mind, there are some other apps here that you might think are a little funny, but these choices are to accomplish other things. You want loop retention, okay? So Dropbox is an option. Google Drive is an option as far as maintaining your loops going forward. And I think those are really the only two repositories. Of course, once you have them in Dropbox or in Google Drive, you can do anything you want from there. You also, capacity is an issue now. How much Dropbox capacity do you have? How much Google Drive capacity do you have? So I go to apps and I selected Dotloop, and then by default, it pulled up my choices of what I could connect Dotloop with. So then I would go ahead, and in my case, I selected Dropbox. So now you can see over here, it's $5 per month for an agent account. Now, I already have this as an active workflow for me, so it's not going to let me set this up again, but there is an easy step-by-step process that will include, now once you make this connection, it will prompt you, to name the file in Dropbox you want it to go to. You can see here, Otherwise, I just allowed it to do the default so that you guys could see what that would be. Dotloop via API Nation. And you will have to submit a credit card. There is a little bit of free time on this, but generally that won't accomplish bringing over all of your loops. So you will have to sign up. Well worth it to me personally for $5 a month. An office is going to pay $25 a month. I wanted to start this connection as soon as possible. So even though Dotloop, the contract with my market center doesn't end for over another month now, I elected to start this sync as quickly as possible so that I had time to verify I got all my loops. My concern is if I leave my loops with leave my loops with Dotloop, that at some later point they will charge me to retrieve those loops. So I wanted to get these downloaded, and I think that charge is going to be greater than the $5 a month that for 1 month of this that I'm going to pay. So that's how you start the workflow. Follow the last couple of pieces of directions. It's your credit card and putting in your naming the file, and then that will create this sync. Okay, this is the screen you'll end up at. So when I click on this, what you will likely see is you will likely see all these are all my successful workflows. So you'll see one, and what it does is it grabs roughly 50 documents at a time. So you can see how this could take a little while, and it runs 6 minutes and then 10 minutes later. So it doesn't run at even intervals, and that's why it's going to do its pulls over the course of time. And then these are saying ignored now because what it's doing is it's checking Dotloop, but it is not finding any new loops. And then I changed a document in a current loop that it is pulling from. So now it found that new document update, and it pulled that over at 3:30. Okay, but you're going to have to let it run for a little bit. You can see that it captured all of my historical workflow for years, I started this May 4th at 4:07. So started it yesterday, and here we are today, and it's already grabbed everything. So theoretically, once I'm done with my final transaction in Dotloop, which closes tomorrow, yay, I will be able to disconnect this and then start going through my actual files here. See, open. So I'm in Dropbox now, right? And I'm in the files. Okay, so Dropbox, files, you can see my faces over here. I have enough storage capacity right now that I pay for in order to handle what I brought over. And I go here, and then Ferdinand Hutch Marone is my Dotloop account, and then you can see it's bringing over. Now I want to go through and double check all of these before I disconnect or before I stop paying for API Nation. So I will go through all of my loops at some point. But that is simply how you do it. And then, like I said, depending on how long you've been doing this and how many loops you have, how many transactions per year, it should all come over within a few days. It might take a little longer for a market center, so I would start planning ahead well in advance of my Dotloop account going away. And then for current transactions, you have the option in command. Go here to opportunities. So I'm in my command account. I go down here to opportunities. Okay, these are for current transactions. All right, if you want to import a current transaction, a loop that has not closed yet, you can go right up here to import. This is not for archived or closed loops from Dotloop. This is just to import your current transactions. So import here. These are just duplicates. It does not matter which of these I choose. So I'm going to choose the Hutch Marone, my market center, importing from Dotloop, continue. And then it will allow me to select all of the loops. So these are my loops. It sees them. I select the right one. import scheduled. And then you could see that nothing was imported successfully because, and this is what I wanted you guys to see, the information on that loop, the seller or buyer's name and email address needs to match a known contact in command. So if you do not have that person in command as a contact, it will not create the loop for you. So you have to make sure that you go in and create the contact, and then it'd be best if you put the email exactly as it is in Dotloop. That's the only way it's going to work, honestly. Because I've had a couple of people who have moved, and it's been a few years, and they changed email addresses, right? And when I made the change, just testing on an old archived loop, it finally came over. The difference is, if it's something that's archived in Dotloop, it won't actually bring the documents in. If it is an active loop and you have a contact in command with an email address that matches, it will bring that loop in and it will put your documents in the documents folder. It will create a special folder in the documents tab under, so I'm going to go to all opportunities here, and I'm going to pull up an opportunity just to make sure we're all on the same page. And right here, okay? So it's going to create a special folder over here in your custom folders, and it's going to have all your documents in it, and then you'll be able to manage them from there. So, and that's how you do it for an active loop. Now, for most of us, if you get on top of this quickly enough, you won't have to bring over any active loops. You should be able to safely make your transition to DocuSign or the transaction management software you choose. But that's why I encourage you to do this in a timely manner, so you have a chance to learn DocuSign, transition over, and you don't have to do any of the importing here to command. You'll just sync your API Nation to Dropbox, and you'll be good. You'll have all your old loops. And for market centers, it's the same process. It's the same process of bringing over all these old loops, and encourage market centers to move all their business with agents over to DocuSign well ahead of Dotloop going away. So I hope that helped you guys. This is a longer video than I normally do, but this was an important topic, and I want to make sure I got everything answered. And then feel free to reach out to your Market Center tech trainer or Hutch Marone, and that's me, and we'll get your questions answered.